Buenos dias, this is Senor Irvin, and this is a lesson on the present progressive tense. First thing I would do is make sure you're paying careful attention, taking these notes on your own piece of paper, so that you get this the first time through. Sounds bueno? All right, so here it is. First of all, the present progressive tense already tells you something about it just in its name, that it's in the present tense, but something is different as far as it happening. So what the definition of the present progressive tense? A good one would be uh, something that is happening, and then we could even put right now. An example sentence in English would be something like, I am eating tacos, like that. Or something like, I am playing soccer, football, like that. So those are good ways of being able to say that. You can also put it as far as in the he form if you want. He is walking down the street. Muy bien. An example sentence in Espanol, I'm going to use those exact same ones up there. Let's see what they look like. Yo estoy comiendo tacos. Or yo estoy jugando fútbol. Él está andando por la calle. Cool. All right. Or caminando. Cool. So these are example sentences. I make sure that I write those down so you have some examples of what does it actually look like. Well, how do you actually come up with these sentences in Espanol? Well, it's actually pretty simple as far as the thing, but the first thing you need to go ahead and do is you need to have the conjugations or the changes of this verb called estar. Ser and estar are both the same verb as far as in English. They both mean things like am, is, and are. They're both translated as the verb to be. But in the present tense anyway, the verb estar is an irregular verb. The yo form is yo estoy. And I would make sure I write these down because you're going to need these. See? The tú form is tú estás. The usted, él, and ella form is está. I just have two lines for them. Not exactly sure why, but let's see. Nosotros form just looks like an AR verb. Estamos. And the ustedes, ellos, and ellas form is están. You can see that each one of these is going to carry an accent. These three. This is a weird one. It's kind of like soy and estoy rhymes there. So it's an irregular verb. Okay? So first you need this, and in a second I'm going to show you the steps to be able to do that. So make sure you get those down. Okay? And then you're going to need to do something. As you noticed up here, look what's happening to the verbs. Comiendo, jugando, andando. Your vocab list also includes a bunch of verbs that are in this present progressive. Soñando, durmiendo, comiendo, tocando, cantando. You can see something is going on as far as these verbs. Let's figure out how to go ahead and change them. They are called gerund endings, and basically all they do is they end in English, okay, in English, to be something like an ing ending. Okay, that's how we form it in English. We put ing at the end of verbs like eating, talking, playing. In Espanol, depending upon if it's an AR verb, you're going to add the ending ando. Actually, I should go like this. Ando. And if it's an ER or IR verb, you're going to add the ending yendo. Now, you notice my pronunciation of this. IE in Espanol produces this sound. Yendo. So when I say this in Espanol, as far as for eating, for example, it's comiendo, or living is viviendo. Okay? So it just sounds like a Y sound right there. Yendo. So here it is. How do you actually conjugate the present progressive tense verb in Espanol? Let's use first an AR verb as an example. Hablar. To talk or to speak. Okay? Okay, so I want to say, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to have conjugate the verb estar. Okay? Okay, use the correct, use the pronoun to give you the correct change. So let's look up here. Here's the pronouns. Yo, tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, ellos, ellas, and usted. You need to conjugate the verb estar. So for example, if it was the yo, then I'm going to put estoy, of course. If it was tú, I'd put estás, and so on and so forth. I just put yo estoy, okay? So I've changed this one. Let me put it in red. I've done my first step. I have estoy. The second step, okay, it's pretty simple. Figure out if the verb, not the estar, of course, but the other verb, is an AR or an ER-IR verb, okay? Figure out if it's one of those two, okay? And then change the ending. All right, what do I mean by change the ending? Well, easy. On AR verbs, you're going to drop the AR, like this one up here, and you're going to add ando. So let's go back to yo estoy, and I have hablar, right? So I'm going to drop the AR, and I'm going to add ando. Yo estoy hablando. I've just formed the present progressive. I am talking or speaking. Sí, perfecto. Let's do an example with a ER verb. Okay, so I have, let's put tú, let's say you are eating. Tú estás. Okay, we have comer, comer, as the señor says. I'm going to take off the ER and add yendo. This is said. Tú estás comiendo. You are eating. Pretty simple, right? See? Let's do an example with nosotros. Nosotros, first step, change the estar. Estamos. And then let's pick a verb like vivir. It's an IR verb. Doesn't matter ER or IR. We add IENDO. Viviendo. We are living. Muy bien. Interesting sentence there. See? Muy bien. There are, unfortunately, some very common spell changes. For example, if you have a situation where you have like verbs like leer, muy bien, is a great example. So because if you drop the ER, okay, let's say you drop the ER and you added IENDO, you have this thing where you have these three vowels in a row, okay? And in Espanol, we usually don't like to have that because people are like, how do you even pronounce that? Say? So instead, this actually, we end up going like this because this already sounds like a Y right there. So we go like this. Le, let's put this like in a blue color. Yen do. So you notice what I've done there. I still added the ending, but instead of going IENDO, I went YENDO. And why did I do this? Well, like I just said, there are some ones that are like spell changing Spanish gerunds. So there's going to be like, let's call these irregulars, the weirdos, okay? And this happens not as often as anything else, but just so you know that there are some ones that they're going to do this little weird thing. And I'll make sure that I identify them even on the test. I'll say, here's some irregulars. So what do you do with the irregular? All that changes is that I changes to a Y. So it becomes that just because it looks better and then people know how to pronounce it. So this over here, put this over here, sir. This is incorrect. It's like, okay, we cover that up. That makes sense? Cool. Muy bien. So hopefully you can kind of get it and work on the examples on the worksheets. And adios. Hasta la vista.